Of all the videos I do on this YouTube channel, this is going to be the one that blows up. The reason why is because I went upstairs and got a dirty old shoe, and I'm going to do a life drawing of it. And of all the crazy monsters and crazy things I do, I just know this shoe is going to go bam. Okay, this is an exercise. This is what separates the kids from the adults. I don't know, man from the boys. Because you have to sit here and work on your hand-eye coordination. And this was hard. If you can see, I'm erasing constantly because I'm trying to figure out the proportions. And I haven't done this a lot in a long time. And really, I don't do a lot of life drawings. But if you want to become a better artist, you need to practice this. This is kind of like going to baseball practice and practicing hitting, or going to wrestling practice and practicing your takedowns and doing it hour after hour. If you want to be able to render this stuff, you got to put the leg work in, and this is the leg work. I mean, you have the art part of art, and then you have the part where you have to be able to at least render things correctly. That is, unless you're into like abstract art where it doesn't matter. But if you want to at least try to make your stuff look real, you just have to spend hours and hours practicing. And this shoe has a little history. Not the shoe itself, other than the fact it's an old dirty shoe I had under the bed. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I think I've alluded to it in the past. I was in high school. I'll tell you. I graduated from high school in 1984. And in 1980, I had the opportunity, thanks to my parents, to go to this thing called Allstate. It was at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. It was a 2-week program where I got to go live in the dormitories. It was a blast. It was fun. It was an art program. And every day we go learn different things. And one day this teacher told us we're going to do this exercise. He said, take your shoe off and put it up on the desk. Oh, I think we had long tables back then. And the drawing paper I had, I think, was probably twice this big at the time, if I remember right. I was probably a freshman in high school, I don't know, 16, 15 years old. But I can remember drawing this shoe, and everybody else in the room had to draw their shoe as well. And it was interesting, and I understood why we were doing it. He wanted to see if we could do it. And this is an excellent exercise on how to draw. It's a life drawing. You have to look at your object. You have to get your proportions right. You have to scale it right. You have to get the angle right. You have to look at the lighting right. And this was hard. I mean, this is the second life drawing I've done in this series. I did a life drawing of a toy dinosaur a few videos back, but I remember how hard it was to get the shoelaces right. Shoelaces are hard. They're very hard. And I think at this point of the drawing, I think I got most of the angles right, the proportions right. I think I got most of it. So I'm starting to get into some details here. But then it just gets harder. It just gets harder because you have to do all the shading and stuff. In this video, I do ink wash. So, it's funny because I got back into art maybe 2 years ago, just so I'd have a legacy here on YouTube. I'd like to be a YouTuber, but my channel's going absolutely nowhere. So if you want to help me out with that, I appreciate it. Like and share this if you ever see it. But I want to have some of what I do online. So it's kind of funny because I'm actually relearning everything I used to know how to do, and I'm getting better and better at it, which is a good and a bad thing because if you don't know, the art world's kind of tough. I mean, every kind of art is tough. Music's tough, acting's tough, writing is really tough. I do writing, I do music, I do all that stuff. I have songs on Spotify, I have novels online, and I don't know how you become known. I don't know. It's hard. It's very hard. There's a lot of competition out there. So I kind of dropped my art for a long time because it really got me nowhere. But 2 years ago I said I have to do something. So I started all my monster paintings, and I got all these wonderful paintings. I'm just going to brag on myself. I think they're pretty good. And I tried to sell them, and nobody wanted to buy them because they're crazy and weird. So I gave a bunch of them away. I figured, why didn't I just sell to those people? Well, I don't know. I honestly, I just had a whole bunch of them. I just had to get rid of them because I stopped painting because I had just too much. That's when I switched to this drawing paper because I was doing it on canvas that I was getting from Goodwill, and I just had like 25 of them in my next door in my dining room, and my wife was not happy with that, so I gave a bunch away. I probably gave away 15, 20 of them, and in a way, I'm glad they're out there, not sitting in my house because I want them to have a life of their own. But I started going to the paper here, and I have a portfolio on this desk. And now when I do artwork, I just put the portfolio, or in the case of this here, I just flip the page over and I just start new. So it's a lot less consuming of space and whatnot. So here I am, and I'm starting to outline the shoe. I think I'm pretty confident in my rendering of the shape. The shape is tough, but I think I got it down. I'm trying to be less cartoony and more realistic with this one. It would take me probably another 10 shoes to get that down to a real realistic look. But once I get the ink wash in, I think it really comes to life. But I always like the sketch versions of most of my work where it's just kind of plain and easy to look at before I go into all those details. My pictures have like two lives, the sketch life and then the painting life. But I always take them to the end. I never really leave my work. Well, I would feel it was half done if I didn't finish it off. So I got my laces down. I'm starting to put in some, what am I doing here? I'm starting to thicken up some lines. Thickening up some lines here for when I get out my my ink washes. Once again, I don't know if you see my other videos, but I really like doing ink wash. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I also got some watercolors, but this one I want to be black and white. Oh, here goes my ink washes. Now, this shoe had a really dark sole. The interior of the shoe was really dark, so it has a nice contrast to it. But you saw the shoe up front. It was basically a white leather shoe. And so this part is the blocking in of the basic shades. I start off with a light, about a 30% gray. And when I did this time, I just put some water in my little tray, put some India ink in there, and on one side, and so I can kind of see where it's kind of dark on one side and light on the other, so I don't have individual little dabs of color, not color, but grays. You can see it there on the right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. I'm taking it out of the middle. And I noticed that my India ink is kind of chunky. It's not really smooth, so I have to blend it. I don't know if it's just an old bottle that sat out too long in the sun, but I didn't buy it that long ago. But it's working okay. I'm cool with it. So this is the part of the rendering where I kind of hate it. I had this same thing in my paintings. I have this halfway thing where I hate my artwork, and I hate it, and I have to get over this hump. I have to get all my colors right, or in this case, my shading right, and it helps when I do this. Now I'm putting some darks in, which is going to be some more contrast, which is going to help. Now, I would suggest to anybody out there who's watching this video for educational purposes to pick it doesn't have to be a shoe, obviously. It could be anything you got, and work on your life drawings. One thing I need to work on really bad is cloth. Because in my paintings, I think I really want to work on doing some cloth, like the old masters did. You know how they did it. But I've never really had a reason or an opportunity to practice it. So I would suggest, whatever you do, if you paint flowers, get some flowers, even if they're fake flowers, set them up and get your pencil out and start drawing them. And it's torture. It's absolute hell. I mean, I hate to say that, but life drawing is difficult. But that's probably on purpose. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And if it was easy, everybody's art would look fantastic. And not everybody's art looks fantastic. Which brings me to a subject I need to talk about. Art, this kind of art is the only kind of art where everybody gets a free pass. You can never criticize somebody's artwork. You can criticize somebody's music, their writing, their dancing, whatnot, but don't you ever dare criticize somebody's drawing. And I don't know if it's a cultural thing or what, Maybe I'm a horrible artist, I just don't know it because nobody's ever told me. I think I'm okay. I'm putting some darks on the edges, and I put some darks under the laces, kind of thicken those up too, give them a little 3D effect. But that's one thing that's kind of irritating is I'm a gallery associate up in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I look at some of the artwork up there, and I shouldn't even say this out loud, but I don't think all artwork belongs in a gallery. Maybe mine doesn't either. I don't know. But I don't think that this kind of artwork deserves a free pass. I mean, if you can't draw, you know, somebody should tell you. Unless you just want to be a hobbyist. You know, that's what all I am. I'm a hobbyist. You know, nobody's lining up to buy my paintings, and I'm not going to stand out in the hot sun under a tent trying to sell these things. Now, if you want to buy the picture of the shoe here, you just send me a message, and I will sell it to you in a second. I don't know how much I'd sell it for. Probably enough to buy me a new car, probably, or a new lawnmower. But anyway, so how we're getting towards the end of here. Don't hang up yet because you got to see the finished product here. I should never say we're coming to the end because I don't want you to shut this video off. Keep going, keep going. I'm putting the legwork in, and you got to stick with me here. So I need you to like and subscribe, and like and share. Sharing is almost the most important thing. If you can share this and get your friends to like it, then that helps my channel a lot. And you know, like I said before, if you watch my other videos, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be famous like everybody else, you know, have my day in the sun. And if you watch this for educational purposes, that's awesome. I personally view this more as entertainment. I try to give a few tips and hints here and there as I go, but you know, which is kind of funny because I went to university back in '93 to be an art teacher, and that's a long story in itself too. Because I didn't actually go to be an art teacher. I went there to be an artist, but I did take a bunch of teaching classes, which taught me that I didn't want to be an art teacher. But if you want to learn, I mean, just watch what I'm doing there, and that's how I learned. I learned from watching, observing, copying, practicing, and I will tell you, practicing is what you need to do. And I think I'm just finishing out that little part of the bottom here, and I'm going to grab a pen and I'm going to sign my name, Keith Trim 24. Thank you for showing up.